So, like I said, what we're going to be dealing with today is primarily understanding graffiti and street art a little bit better, specifically working with our tag today. Now, with you guys, I'm going to naturally assume that you don't have a tag yet. You may already, and you are more than welcome to use that, but assuming I'm going to be talking to you guys as if you have literally no concept as to what the heck I am talking about. So, for the sake of example, what we want to think about whenever it comes to working with our kind of tag handle name is a couple different aspects, all right? The first step is literally just the alphabet itself, right? I assume every person in this room is literate, I hope. You guys are in high school, so to sit down, if I told you to just, write out the alphabet, A, B, C, D, okay, you can do that all you wanted. You guys know how to write. I mean, that's fair. I assume you got here because you can. But let's be honest, right? These letters are only so cool, right? You have your own hand style, right? I'm assuming that most of you were already taught how to do cursive as well. So, like, if I wanted to do my last name, if I did my last name in cursive perfectly, right? Okay, let's see. So I don't even remember. K looks nothing like that. The O, Z, A. I can't even do cursive. This is so sad. Kozak. Look at that. Beautiful, right? But of course, no one signs their name like that, right? No one sits and, wait, what the hell does a K look like? No one does that, right? What you do instead is you kind of have this cross hybrid between cursive and printing and like capital letters where there shouldn't be capital letters. And just, you have your handwriting, right? It has developed over many, many years. When you were in first grade, you literally sat down and said, okay, wait, so letter A, oh gosh, B, right? You did all this stuff, right? You did all this. But what we're going to do is literally we have to time travel back, rethink about this kind of idea, right? We have to recreate a new style of handwriting. So whenever I write my last name, I have something that I'm happy with, right? But that is not cursive, nor printing, nor I don't know what. There's no cross in this letter A. It's like half of a K. I don't even know. But that's how I sign my name. You know what I mean? You have your own way of signing too. So we are basically going to recreate the concepts that you've learned over the many, many years in a matter of like 5 minutes. So there's a lot of information to be wedged into your brain. So what we're basically doing is this. What I want you to do is think about your basic alphabet, right? Just, the basic kind of ABCs, right? What I want you to do though is think about how you can kind of flourish them a little bit, right? So again, I'll take the letter C, right? Technically, that is a letter C. Technically, lowercase c, right? But sometimes the C could have like a cool little flippy dip on it. Maybe I put a little something. That's more of a G. We don't want that, right? Just kind of burn through each letter of the alphabet on your own time and kind of think, okay, how could I do something cool for the B? Well, I could do like that. That's kind of like a 3. Oh, with a line. Oh, all right, right? Feel free to play with the letter. Think about what the actual integrity of the letter is. Your last project, we talked about dividing your canvas, and between rotation and all this kind of other things, if I had a word, a 4-letter word like we did for our project, mine, of course, is poop, I know that the letter P itself, really all I need is this kind of loop-de-loop here, and maybe a little tiny piece right here. That's all I really need to show the letter P. Letter O, as we saw with some of your projects, I need to show like a fourth of the letter O, and it's a letter O, right? So again, we've trained your brain already with this project into thinking about letters in a different way. Yes, a letter C is this kind of curve, right? But how can I play with it a little bit? Yes, the letter A is this triangle with a line. So I could do more of like an anarchy kind of A. I could do more of a like loop-de-loop kind of an A, right? Maybe I've got an A with a curve upright, and then I could throw 2 eyes in there, and that looks like a happy face. Play around with your alphabet until you're happy. Get to relearn these letters in their basic form. Now, you know as well as I do, there are actual graffiti styles, actual types of letter form. For the sake of this project, we're not going to go over those. You are welcome to look them up and kind of learn from the basics. As far as I'm concerned, I want you to learn the letters how you want to learn them. Does that make sense? I want you to kind of dig in and say, wow, this is my letter B. That's the letter B I want. I love the way that looks. Do like a 3 and a line. That's cool to me. Your brain knows what it likes, right? So instead of trying to make the letter B the way you were told in first grade, that's a letter B, skip it, man. First grade didn't know crack. You're making your own letter B now. right? So the same thing. So you're going to want to go through and think about your letter forms, and it might take you 23 tries. It may take you 1 try, right? But kind of understand these letters in a totally new way. Once you've done that, and we're gonna jump for 1 second here, but once you've done that, and you have your alphabet down, so let's say, for example, right? So you've got whatever your letter forms are, the letters that you like, the style that you like, right? Get comfortable writing them out and have them spread out in front of you. Now, what we're going to develop today is your actual graffiti tag handle, or your name, right? And if you think about, like, with your email or something, or even your DeviantArt names like you guys all have, most likely you have an email or some kind of online name that is not literally your name, right? My Facebook name is not literally Mr. Kozak at Facebook.com, right? My DeviantArt name is Mr. Kozak, but you get the idea, right? At some point in time, you have made some kind of internet name that is not your name, right? So you made a name, and maybe it was like Super Sexy Dude, but look, you did like dude with 2 D's. What? Super Sexy Dude at gmail.com. All right. I'm sure that's somebody's email, and I'm so sorry for them. But you get the idea, right? This is not your real name. Dear God, I hope your parents love you more than that. But you get the general idea, right? You get the idea that, like, you have had a persona. You've had an online handle before, and that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing is recreating a handle. This is the name you weren't born with, but the name you know is you. So there are a couple different ways of doing it. Everyone has their own style. I'm going to teach you 3 very basic ways of doing it. Okay? Step 1. After you've written out your alphabet, you can go through and say, well, what letters do I like? What letters do I think I wrote in a cool way? For example, my F, not that cool, right? That's kind of a lame F. So I would never want to draw the letter F often. I mean, you're writing this name a lot, so you want to be able to have cool letters for that name, right? So I could say, like, I really like my B. That's cool. So I'll do my B. I think it's kind of cool, curly. Let's see what else. I like my K, right? So I could have, like, the BK Lounge over here. My E is pretty cool. I got the, like, 1, 2, 3 and a little cut on it. My D is pretty cool with, like, this weird Disney loop on the end. So that's what I got, right? So then you can sit and you can take these letters, and you can have obviously many, many letters, but you kind of pick out and you say, okay, how can I play with these letters, and can I make a word out of that, right? Now, you could just literally have random letters. Let's be fair, right? Do you really want to be known as Baked? Probably not. But I could kind of play around with these a little bit. Let's see, what could I do? I could do the word bed. That's what I could do. So from henceforth, I'll be known as the graffiti master Bed. Yes. Bless you. Now, yes, exactly. My tags are so sick, you might as well go back to bed. So that's step 1. So step 1, I can come up with that name, right? By using the cool letter forms. If you don't like that option, there's 2 other options, again, that are kind of commonplace. You can sit down, as many of you already have, and you can sit down and write out a couple things that you like about yourself. What are you into, right? I like art. I like teaching. Wow, this is really, you're getting to know me. Let's see, I've been in pinball championships before, so I like pinball because I'm awesome. I draw on the iPad a lot. I like drawing specifically. I can't spell. Probably not very good at spelling. Right? Okay, so you get the idea, right? So I can sit down and kind of hammer out a whole bunch of different thoughts about myself, and I can kind of play around with those if you want to, and kind of see, can I kind of make something? Do these things have anything in common? Well, let's see. Okay, so let's see, iPad, drawing, so this is art and drawing, they kind of go together. iPad is like digital stuff, so maybe I could do like digital. That's kind of cool. Art and drawing, teaching. I could do like teaching art, so I could do like digital education, which is abbreviated EDU, but digital is really long, so I could just do the word digi. So let's get rid of U, so we're ed, right? So now I'm digi ed, right? Right, digi ed. right? And I can kind of take this new name if I really like it. Again, extrapolating from things that I like about myself, right? So now I'm Digi-Ed forever and ever. Maybe it would be cooler if my name was Edward. It's not. But so now I've got two different names I could have. I could have Bed, that I know is going to look cool, but is not necessarily about me. I could have Digi-Ed, which is totally about me, but not necessarily going to look cool. Or I could totally leave it up to the fates. Right? When in doubt, there we go. And all right, we're in the P's. I will forever be known as Powder Puff. That's happening. Look right there. Whoa. Powder Puff. All right. So from henceforth, of relating to or being comparative to the event of women or a football game. Awesome. Because I think those things I have a lot in common with. So they are very synonymous. So I've got a couple different options. A couple different options here in front of me, right? I have Bed, which again I know will look cool. Digi-Ed, something totally about me but not necessarily looking cool, and of course, Powder Puff. Right? So 3 different options in how you can kind of find your name, right? Leaving it up to the fates, letting it be about you, or letting it look cool. Now I will tell you this. However you decide to come up with your tag name, I would really suggest you find something that does still at some level relate back to you. And the reason is this. I myself have gone through, when I was in high school and on the way up, I've gone through like 6 different tag names. And let me tell you, if you start getting some kind of a following, if someone's walking to work and they're like, hey, that's a really cool tag handle by the tagger Bed, and then like, you know, over the summer I change over to Digi-Ed, they'll be like, dude, Digi-Ed sucks compared to Bed. It's the same person, right? You want to pick something that you're comfortable with so you don't feel the need to change all that often, right? I'm not saying you'll never change your idea. You're more than welcome to evolve. But you want to pick something between kind of these 3 styles that's going to stick more with you, okay? Now, my final note is this. As you are practicing your letter forms, as you come up with your tag handle, again, you're going to go through and you're going to start thinking to yourself, okay, so now that I know I am forever Bed, right? Maybe I want to play with these letters a little more. Okay, well, my letter B that I'm comfortable with is kind of this number 3 with a line. Well, that's kind of cool. Okay, I can kind of dig on that. My letter E that I do, my letter E is kind of like 1, 2, and maybe like kind of like a 3, something like that. That kind of looks dumb. It's more like a C with a line. That's kind of cool. All right, let's stick with that. And finally, my letter D is kind of this, again, we saw already, kind of a line with a Disney curly Q at the end, right? So I can kind of play with these a little bit and kind of mess with them and see if I can kind of stitch them together, right? Because again, if you think about your actual handwriting, right, you don't sit and write your name every single time as individual letter forms, right? Instead, you kind of do like, well, the K and the O, they kind of overlap a little bit. The Z kind of, and that goes around over there. These things kind of lock in because they are a word in your head, not letters, right? So you don't want these to be words, you want them to be letter forms, right? You want them to kind of tie together as a singular word, So maybe, for example, the E here, this line in the E, that looks kind of cool. What if that ties into my B? So I could do like a cross, do like a loop-de-loop, pull that over there, throw like the letter C in there. Now I've got like a B and an E. Right, they kind of like link together a little bit. And then what if instead of having this line here for the D, because a D really is just kind of that arc, bless you. So what if I threw it over top the whole thing and let this line from the B be a part of the D as well? I don't know, maybe. Kind of play around with it a little bit, right? Keep kind of messing through. So now all of a sudden I've got this big D, little b, 1, 2, 3. Well, that's kind of neat. All right. And you can kind of just keep nickel and diamond, man. You're going to write about 40,000 of these things, right? And you just start to feel really cool with these letters, you know, until it starts to become almost like your signature. You're going to feel really comfortable with this new name, right? So once you feel comfortable and you're happy with this new name and you're thinking, yes, I will forever be known as Bed, right? A couple things you're going to want to think about, right? This is a handle, right? This is not your real name, of course, so we can throw on little quotey quotes, right? That's, you know, Bed, right? You don't necessarily have to, but it's good to think about. Also, finally this. You guys are starting out. Feel free to start out by using a pencil right? But you are going to very quickly want to get out of the habit of using a pencil, because if you're thinking about using spray paint in real life, of course, there's no erasing, right? So you want to feel comfortable just like working with a marker or a pen or something where you can sit down and, can I draw this in a permanent fashion? So feel free to use markers or pens. I'll pull them out here for you until you start feeling well about, okay, let's see, big D, little e, whoop, 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 right? Bed. Cool. That's the concept that we're going for, right? You want to be able to sit down and practice this between coming up with it today and even a little bit over the weekend. You want to be able to practice this to the best of your ability. Get it down pat so that the hope would be that by the time you come back on Monday, you'll be able to literally write this like you would a signature. And if you think about your signature, no one sits and takes forever to write out their signature. You don't do that, right? No. Right? You kind of just go, oh, Kozak, yeah, this is me. I guess I could be a doctor someday, right? And you just kind of like, like whenever your parents say, hey, sign this check, and you're like, ah, right? You're like, that's me. Deal with it, Mom. So understand, right? Understand, just like your signature, you want to get this down pat to the point where, like I said, you can all of a sudden start banging it out, right? Very, very quickly. Now, there's a reason for this. And that reason is this. When you guys come back on Monday, there's going to be a test. And that test will be simply nothing more than you coming to the front board and tagging your new name, your new handle here, your tag. You're going to be tagging this on the front board, on a piece of paper so we have it permanently. But you're going to be tagging this, and you have to do it in a very short amount of time. I'm not going to tell you what that time is, but suffice to say, it's very short. Right? Because the whole idea is you want to be able to hammer this out quickly, on the go, buzzing past the wall real quick. You don't want to be caught by anyone. You don't want them to be catching you. You want to be able to hammer it out. Bam! Done. Period. Right? So, today, what you're working on, if we're backtracking, right? What you're working on is start with your alphabet. Write it out, just the entire alphabet, how you feel comfortable. Get your letters so that they look cool. If there's not enough accents, add more. If you think there's too much accents, pull it back, right? You're trying to find your style, right? Your style of writing. Have fun with it. Then once you've done that, then again, like I said, we're pulling back even further. Now we want to think, how am I going to come up with my new tag handle? Am I using my cool letters? Am I letting life decide for me? Or am I going to decide by letting my cool ideas and the things that I like to do kind of influence who I am as a new graffiti artist, right? So, after that, everything's said and done, grab some markers and start practicing. Tie these letters together until you have yourself a brand new rockin' tag, okay? Any questions with that? Relative, no. God, no. You don't want to use your name. No. Don't use your name. No. You want to use a totally different word. Or maybe there's a couple words that you've merged them together somehow. But no, you most certainly do not want to use. Put it this way, right? Let me ask you this. I'm going to answer your question. So you asked, can I use my last name, right? So if I did this tag right now, and I do this tag on Mr. Barry's office, who will he come calling when he tries to ask the police who could have possibly done this? Okay. So again, let's break this down, right? So here are my initials. How many people in this school could possibly have those initials? Let's break it down to like what? I mean, like 5 people? CK. It's not going to take much to figure it out. Find something about you that is not your God-given name. You want to have something that is brand new. This is a time to express yourself, not what your parents gave you, but what you give you. Okay? Exactly. Enjoy, guys.